Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's Lauren Rose. I'm so glad you're here and watching today's video. Today we're going to be talking about leaving the waiting room and how to act now. So I'm sure many of you, maybe you have or haven't heard of the term called God wink. And this term is used to describe either coincidences or synchronicities that people find in their life where they realize if I hadn't been at a certain place or if these events did not occur simultaneously, then the later event would not have happened. And the later event was something that was out of the ordinary and it's called a God wink because that later event could only have occurred by a supernatural force. Some of you may be waiting on a God wink, so I'm going to read a definition. Now, I did get this definition from a Hallmark movie, but it is a really good definition. Okay, it says a God wink is a new word for those little coincidences that are coincidences but come from divine origin. God winks are always signs of hope. So, you may be waiting on a God wink to take that dream vacation, to enroll in school again and finish your degree, to sign up for a higher level position, a promotion in your company. You may be waiting on a God wink to finish that book that you started 10 years ago. You may be waiting on a God wink for whatever it is, fill in the blank, but basically you're waiting on a sign. And while you're waiting on a sign, there's something that you should be doing instead, which is what you should be doing is moving. There's something that Dr. Miles Monroe said about uh, riches and where the riches of the world are. I'm going to read it word for word because I think it's pretty powerful what he stated, and I think it helps us frame the discussion for today. He said, the wealthiest spot on this planet is not the diamond mines of South Africa. It's not the oil fields of Iran or Iraq. It's not the uranium mines of the Soviet Union. It's not the oil wells of Iraq. The wealthiest part on this planet is not the seafood of the oceans, but the wealthiest spot on this planet is right in your neighborhood. It's the cemetery. If I could mine the cemetery like you mine gold, I would be the wealthiest man on the planet. Why is there so much treasure in the cemetery? Why? Because buried in the cemetery are dreams that were never fulfilled. I think as women, we have traded actionable steps that will move us closer to the dreams that God has placed on the inside of us. We've traded that for waiting on God. And that has caused a lot of issues, that has caused a lot of delay, unnecessary delay. So even if you haven't received a sign that you think you need to move forward, you can still move forward. You can still have action so that way you can get closer to the goals and dreams that God has placed on the inside of you. As I was writing this lesson, or I don't want to call it lesson, but anyways, as I was writing this for today, I thought about pregnant women and I thought about how pregnant women will go into the labor room, right? And so they will sit in the labor room as they're waiting to deliver the baby. Usually because they don't take women to, an operating room, they'll have a woman in a what they call the delivery room or something. And the woman is just waiting there as her contractions, they're supposed to get closer together. And then she'll actually, they'll tell her to push so she can have the baby. So I was thinking about pregnant women. And I was thinking about the fact that pregnant women do have alternatives, right? You can have the baby at home. There's some women that have had, babies in ambulances or in the cars because they didn't make it to the hospital. But these pregnant women have something in common. Even though the location changed in which they had the baby, they all were required to act in order for the baby to come. They all had to do something in order for the delivery of the promise. So the environment that they were in can be changed, as I said before, but it required action on their part. If you're not currently in an environment that encourages you to act upon the dreams that God gave you, then I suggest to you, you need to make a move now. Be prayerful about it, but you definitely need to move. And if you're waiting on a sign from God, well, this is your sign. Use this video as your sign. Romans 8, Romans chapter 8, verse 19, the Amplified Version says, "For even the whole creation, all nature, waits eagerly for the children of God to be revealed." So your move, which is creating the moves you're making right now, that's creating your future. That is tied to someone's destiny. And their destiny is waiting on you to make the moves that you're supposed to be making right now, because their future is dependent upon the moves that you're making right now. They can't get what they need because you're not in position. Not only are you not in the correct position, but you're not in the correct place. So if you go back to Genesis, I believe it was in chapter 2, go back and check me on that. God asked Adam, "Where are you?" Now, he didn't ask him this question because he didn't know the latitude or longitude of where Adam was. He knew exactly where he was. He was asking this question because Adam, when he sinned, he separated himself from God. And so the position that he had, being directly from God, having that intimacy with God, that he removed himself from that position. And after he removed himself from that position, God moved him out of place. He was in the garden, God kicked him out, and then God put angels to guard the garden so that he couldn't even enter again. So, position goes with place. And these are two key things that we have to get right in our lives. Now, just because we're making a move, it could be the wrong move, but that will get corrected, through time. It'll get corrected. And it doesn't necessarily have to take a long time, but in order for it to get corrected, you do need to move. So, I want to talk to you about time that I was not in the right place. I was trying to, this was some years ago, I was headed somewhere and I can't remember the location, but I was sitting there at the gate. And so I'm sitting here waiting for, everyone to board, and it's getting closer to boarding time. And I'm looking around thinking, why isn't anyone boarding? Why aren't they calling for boarding? So the thought came to me to check the departure gate again. The gate had moved. They, you know how they adjust gates. So I was supposed to be on a plane within maybe 15 minutes or what have you. And the gate was all the way on the opposite side of the airport. Now, some of these airports are huge. So I had to run as if, I was being chased or something. And I did make it. I made it, but I was completely out of breath. And I that taught me a lesson. Make sure you check your gate in case it gets changed. But here's the point. I had a ticket that was reserved, right? So I had a space for me, specifically for me on a plane, right? That in order to get to that plane, I had to get through the gate. So there was an obstacle that I had to get through to get to what was already mine. But I had to be in the right location, the right place to do that. So the position was important in the place. It was already rightfully mine, but I had to move, I had to act in order to get to what was already rightfully mine. Are you catching what I'm saying? Okay, so I hope this encourages you that you need to make a move. If you don't hear anything else I'm saying today, you need to make a move. Okay, now some of you may be asking, well, how do I make a move? This is what you need to do. I'm going to teach you 4 steps, okay? And we're going to use the word move. The first thing is monitor the people in your inner circle. Even in my own life right now, I'm looking at, okay, there's some levels I want to go to, and I need certain people that are already in those levels. So I need to add those people into my inner circle. O stands for operate with the knowing that even your failures will lead to success. Remember, I said earlier that you may make the wrong moves, and that happens in life. However, understand that failure is an opportunity to learn. And you're going to have to keep failing, keep failing, keep failing, keep failing until you get to that success. But that's your opportunity to learn. E stands for value the input you're receiving from your environment. I'm sure you may have played or have heard of the game of Never Have I Ever. Okay, well, I have some Never Will I Ever. Okay, if you've lived, you will have some Never Will I Ever. I will never do that again. Okay, So even though you'll never do it again, there's still a lesson that you can learn from whatever that situation was. E stands for encourage yourself that this move will be better for you. You have to continue encouraging yourself that, and it, regardless of how it looks, that your move will be better for you. Even if you're not in a toxic environment, even if things are good and you feel that, you know what, I'm good with the way things are right now, I'm good with life. Well, one, that means you're playing it safe and that you're comfortable and that you are not striving for the best and for what God really wants you to do. That's what that means. But two, it also means that you need, in order to, E stands for encourage yourself that this next move will be better for you. So even if you're not in a toxic environment, even if you are comfortable with the way life is, which means that one, you're most likely not walking in the divine purpose that God has called for you, because that will always, if you're walking in purpose, it will always cause you to want to do better. It will always cause you to want to do more. It will always cause you to want to uh, move from where you are. So, and it's not necessarily because you want to do it, but God will say, okay, you know what? I need you here. So you got to have an expectation that no matter what my next move is, it's going to be better for me. It's going to be better than where I am right now. And it's going to, upgrade me or level me up to my next level. So again, M stands for monitor who's in your inner circle. O stands for operate in the knowing, the knowledge that even failures lead to success. V stands for value the input you're receiving from your environment. And E stands for encourage yourself that this next move will be better for you. I think those 4 steps I just gave you are key and they will help you move to your next level. But again, you need to do what we were talking about today. You need to act. So you need to take this information, you need to actually apply it. So normally I end my videos with asking you to share the video and to like and comment and to subscribe, which yes, I would still like you to do that. But today I'm going to ask you something different. I have been working on a book proposal rather, and I am about 95% done. I still have about 1.5 chapters left to do, and I've been stuck on a certain part. So I'm asking everyone who watches these videos, who has a relationship with God, I'm asking you to send a prayer for me. And in that prayer, if you could pray that God will give me what you need to hear so that I can finish the book, that God will give me the creativity, that God will give me the ideas, that He will flow through me. So I really want to get this book out. I've been sitting on this 1.5 chapters and I want to be done with it, but I would really appreciate the prayer. Thank you so much. And of course, I'm praying for you all as well. And I will see you next week. Talk to you later. Bye bye.